Just give it a few seconds. Okay. Hello. Hi, everyone. We're here today to talk about The Stand-In by Lily Chu. This is our book club today, and we have a special guest, Ananya. Hello.
Hi everyone. Hello.
Okay. First off, thanks for everybody for coming. That was a weird way to phrase that. Um, we're gonna talk about our thoughts, and then we're going to do some questions that were in the reader's guide, which was at the back of the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a guest today. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. What were your thoughts?
So Veronica and I were talking before we started this live, and thoughts of the book and how we felt, and I think that there were a lot of things in this book which were really important that I feel like I haven't seen in any other romance novels. Like, for example, like kind of centering on female friendships and kind of things stigma around mental health and like even small things like organization and like little things about our own selves that I feel like a lot of romance novels don't focus on. They always focus on the like imperfections of the girl or something about the boy, and it's always like their chemistry. But the chemistry was like all the chemistry, yes, did play a great role in between Sam and Gracie. I feel like I really did also like the fact that Lily Chu had a focus on those other really important elements of identity in the book.
So, what did you rate it?
What did I rate it? I think maybe like a 4 out of 5, just
Okay.
because um, I give it. There's one star off just because I felt like at the beginning it was still a little bit slow. I like when things like I don't know. I feel like I didn't see the chemistry between them right away. Maybe yes, Gracie thought was like, oh my god, this is like the sexiest man alive. Like, oh, okay, whatever. But like, I kind of wish like, how in the Love Hypothesis, like that new edition of Adam's perspective came out like after that. I don't know if it was attached in the book originally, but when it did come out and like you were able to like hear his perspective, I was like shook. I was like, oh my god, this is happening. Okay, but like, I mean, there's a part of me that kind of wishes there was like a little bit on what Sam was saying, or like, the narrator was like kind of like confident enough to like figure out if she like interpret what she thought Sam was feeling, because it was like super like but it wasn't like, and you could get the flirtation vibes from him at first, and I guess maybe it just wasn't supposed to be there, but I don't know. Sometimes the things go a little bit faster.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Like, in the beginning, I was like, wow, I really wish we had, like, Sam's point of view because it was like, I mean, I didn't mind that we got only Gracie's, but, like, I love when books have dual point of views because it's, like, so good. Like, you're like, one
Yeah.
point of view, you're like, "Oh, he hates me," and then it's, like, his point of view, and it's like, I actually really have a
Yeah. No, it's exactly like, what is it? Like the kiss quotient, right? Because it was like that one. I loved the way that the dual perspectives worked there. And it was just so, it interweaved so beautifully, and it just felt so cohesive almost. And I was like, I felt like having that in this context where it's like such a, it's the experience that Gracie has is not mundane, like at all. It's something that's like so like surprising and out of topic. And I feel like having that perspective would be so unique in a way, like having Sam's perspective. But I mean, either way, I still think that like it was still fun to hear, like even like her small, like her connections with her friend Anjali, or like that was fun, and like seeing other parts, other characters, and hearing a little bit more about somebody. But yeah, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I also gave it 4 out of 5. And, like, everything you said was totally accurate. And, like, I really enjoyed Anjali. She was just, a great side character. Like,
Yeah, great side character. I mean, like if Lily Chu were to make this like a series or like have it like have a world, I would like to see like what is like Anjali's like love life, like on her general life. Like, because she seems like such a bold person and like a very like straight to the point, like that like really like just person, if that makes sense. But I would just really like to see how someone like that kind of approaches relationships that are kind of different. Yeah.
I honestly, I didn't think Anjali would be like such a strong point of the in the book. I thought
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning the bar was the bartender, or I don't know who,
Oh,
Sherry.
the barista, right?
Yeah, yeah, the barista. I thought she was gonna be like the best friend kind of role and not
Yeah,
Anjali. But
me
like I'm kind
too.
of glad that Anjali was like the best friend. It was
Mm,
just so fun and just like she was hilarious and I really enjoyed her. And I love that
yeah.
she, like was there to push Gracie. You know what I mean? It's
Mm. Push her to take risks and push her to like like ask for the things that she deserves, like whether it was like, like even like the payment, like right, it was at the beginning when like, she was wanting to just make sure that like her finances are all in order, and like Anjali was like, ask for the 20%. You're doing a big job for them. It's not wrong to ask. Like, do it, and then she did. So yeah, honestly, like it's great. Like, it's good that like Gracie, like someone who's like really like the type of person who's a little bit reserved and doesn't want to impose, like she's got somebody behind her who's like pushing her and telling her that it's okay to push, which is really important.
yeah. And then like when like I think Gracie pushed Fang Li to, am I even saying her name right? I
I
don't even,
I mean I
yeah,
think
Fang Li.
so.
But
Yeah.
like I love that she pushed Fang Li to like kind of I guess see a therapist or even just like talk about her feelings. It's like
Yeah.
the kind of growth that Gracie had like
Hmm.
finally, I don't know, just like doing
No,
things like
I
change.
agree. I agree. I think that was important because like I think at the beginning of the book, Gracie could tell that Fang Li was struggling. Like there are a few times where she'd be like, "Oh, it looks like Fang Li's crying, but I'm not going to say anything because Sam isn't saying anything, or I'm not going to say anything because other people are around." But I feel like that's the nice thing, the fact that like Lily Chu emphasized on that like female friendship, where there wasn't like a long like a. That's another thing that I appreciated. There was no like love triangle. Like this book like normalized like having like guys as just friends, like just platonic things, which was so important to me because like that's just something that I feel like isn't super like popular in a lot of books, or maybe it's just like in the books that I've read recently because it centers a lot on like love triangle. There's two girls and one guy, or there's two guys and one girl. Like this felt like so much more mature, and like Fong Lee is so mature almost. So I mean, I thought that was great that like they Lily Chu kind of like talked about like brought out that female friendship and like just showed that like your friends are like making friends is important, like having a friend to push you to grow and to help you grow is also just beyond any other thing that can be in a relationship.
I agree. Like excuse me. I like honestly it's like one of those things where you read in books like, oh, guys can't just be friends with girls.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Fang Li's relationship and how they're like on camera and everything, they're like, oh, people think they're in love, but then like when they're
They're
actually
not.
themselves, they're like basically siblings, like
Yeah,
real
like
siblings.
Holly
It's
literally
so nice
says,
to
like, yeah, I consider Sam as like my brother, and I feel like I know that Gracie was like taken aback by that. She was like, "Oh my God, really?" And I feel like only just saying that kind of like deconstructed like Gracie's idea that like not everything that you see in like the media is like real, I guess, because like even like with her mom and like the like the celebrity magazines and stuff, like she would like glance through this and she'd be like, oh wow, look at all these people. But like I think her getting the chance to be Fong Li and like see how her life is kind of like broke things down, like made her realize that we're all just like people and we all have like different like very like similar experiences, but they're in just different contexts.
Yeah. And like I think honestly I enjoyed when Feng Li discovered that Sam and Gracie were like together, but I don't know, not together, I guess. I thought it was so
Hmm.
like, oh my god, you guys are together. It's like, oh, you guys are together. It's like, oh, exciting.
Like like friend,
So
like
cute.
it's like non-toxic friend
I
excitement,
know.
and that's so nice. That's so nice. Like it's like whenever I see like that my friends are like getting into like budding relationships, like I'm like, oh my god, this is so exciting for you. Like I'm so happy like you're getting that like the relationship you deserve and things like that. And I feel like that's something that should be propagated in terms of like in friendships, like if your friend has is trying something new, or like whether it's a relationship or like a thing that you think they'll really enjoy, like it's like cheering them on, and that's so important.
Yeah, like I just honestly enjoyed it. It was so cute. I was like, ah, and the just like tiny like, oh, we're just going out to the park, or like
Hmm.
even just like her Gracie and like Fong Li, or like Gracie and Sam. I just love that they would do these like, just like people would be like, oh, it's just like going out for a walk, but then to them it's like this thing that they never
It's like
got
a
to do.
quality time. It's
Yeah, like
quality time, and it's things that are so mundane, but they're so in like I think they're so meaningful to their experience, no? Because like Sam is like, what is it? His background is that he's got like parents that are like in the industry, and so that's the only thing he's known. So like doing mundane activities for him are like important because they kind of like I like think that they probably ground him, or they make him feel connected to the other people in his audience.
yeah, I really enjoyed their date, but not a date. Where like,
Mm.
I don't know if them going to the park and him getting attacked by the goose. I don't know if that was if that one was so funny. I actually like laughed out loud. So
Yeah.
also, my cat just went to my bathroom. Leave that. But yeah, I just like I kind of went in with like a 3-star mood. Like I think, okay, I'm gonna enjoy
Mm.
it, but I'm not gonna like really like it. But then I was like pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised. Yeah, me
Like,
too.
it's like
Me too.
like I know, okay, we were talking about this before we started, but The Comeback, which is Lily Chu's most recent book, it
Mm.
I honestly wish was either about Fang Li or, Anjali, which I probably like. I feel like I would love to get to read their book and just to see
Mm.
finally maybe Fang Li gets the relationship that kind of like she's able to talk to that person, and then
Hmm.
she's like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I agree. It's kind of like a similar move to like with I forgot the author's name, but like The Trouble with Hating You. Um,
Sajni Patel, yes.
yes, her. I forgot. But yeah, I think that like because essentially, if I'm correct, like the next few books are the main character's friends. Like Preeti is the second book, and then I don't remember the next ones. I don't know if they're next ones, but yeah.
So The Trouble with Hating You is book one, and then First Love Take Two is the second book, which was my favorite.
Mm,
Actually.
yeah, I remember you
It was
recommended it
so
to me, but
nice.
then I did find like I think I found another. I think I found the Love Hypothesis, and I was like, I'm gonna read this. But yeah.
Like I liked for First Love Take Two and like The Trouble with Hating You, we saw like them. I forgot who the main character was for The Trouble with Hating You, but
Was it Rhea?
it honestly it was one of them. I don't know
Something,
names.
something. I'm gonna look it up just because, but
But
just
like
yes, continue.
we saw Pretty's previous relationship in The Trouble with Hating You, and then like we finally get like the satisfaction of like seeing that relationship.
Leah. Sorry, her name is
Yeah.
Leah.
See,
Yeah.
I would have believed you if you said Ray. Like I don't know the names.
I
Yeah,
forgot the
that's
name,
like
but yeah.
if Lily Chu does end up writing more books, which I mean she's an author, I'm sure she'll do that. But like if she
Hmm.
writes in the same universe, I would love to see Fang Li or Anjali. Like
Yeah, yeah, that would be really good. And I feel like with a really good opportunity with Fang Li's story would be like her like mental wellness. I feel like that is like such an important topic to be discussed in books these days, just because it's, women, like, not to like connect everything back to the pandemic, but like mental health became a really big concern for people during that time. And I think, it was really important for people to like seek help and work through it. And I feel like perhaps seeing Hong Li, someone who is like so like in such a public audience and is just so out there, and like her having the courage to seek help and talk through her issues like in a like very sophisticated and very meaningful manner is something that I feel like a lot of readers would benefit from reading about.
Yeah, I agree. And I really enjoyed the little like how Gracie went through depression and having panic attacks and kind of like recognizing that Feng Li is also dealing with that and like
Mm.
it I feel like, I mean not all books, but some books might be like, "Oh, she'll be fine." But then it's like with The Stand-In, it was like we can help her hopefully seek
Hmm.
therapy.
Yeah, we can help her take the steps to
Yeah.
recovery almost. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
you're right.
I liked that when she finally saw a therapist. Did she see her? I already don't remember. I already don't remember. But when she finally saw a therapist, people were around who were like, "Oh, she's finally seeing a therapist." Like, good for her, It's not like, "Oh,
Mhm.
therapist?" It's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
It's like,
Mhm. That's a really big stigma surrounded around therapy, where it's like there are a lot of people just kind of like silently judge others for seeking it. But I think that's also like a very important thing to see, that like people are like, oh, they're like, seeking therapy, or like they're getting help. That's good for them. You know. I feel like that's a very deep connection, or a deep thing that should happen. So
yeah.
yeah. No, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but this book was actually so cute.
It was
I
very
had fun time
cute.
reading it. Like, I really love the small, like, little details about it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, little details, like even like, I mean, like in terms of just like coming back to the whole chemistry thing, but like the first time where like Gracie kind of called out Sam for like, hey, stop being like so
Such
like
a jerk.
dickish. Pardon my language, but like don't be rude. Like, come on. And
Mhm.
like I think there's that other time where like he's like trying to prove to Gracie that, oh, like he can act, like that they're like, like the way that him and Fang Li are together. And he does that whole like, I don't know what it was, but it was like this like thirst trap almost, and Gracie's like, holy shit. And Gracie's like, oh, okay. Like it was, I was like literally on, like when I was reading that part, I was like, oh my god. But yeah, those small things. Those are always a lot of fun in romance novels.
I know. I think one of another part that I enjoyed was hearing their like the acting side of it and like hearing all
Mm,
the movie details that Fong Li and Sam did. It was actually a lot of fun.
mm.
I thought like when they started it I was gonna hate it, but then I actually really enjoyed it. Like all the like historical backgrounds of the film. And I was like, oh that's
Yeah,
like,
like they worked really well with like the sort of the things, like, 'cause like I think like, because of the, what is it? Wang Li is in Toronto because she's acting in a historical play, right? And I feel like it was so nice to like have, for Gracie to have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about her like Asian heritage through that play. Like I feel like that connection was just really nicely weaved together, because there is this clear insecurity that like Gracie feels like she doesn't really like connect too much originally with Sam and Fang Li, because they're speaking fully Mandarin and she's not able to understand, and it's like, where do I fit, where do I belong? And I think like her being able to learn a little bit more about Fang Li's job and Fang Li's like role in this play kind of like helps her understand a little bit more. It might be in a small degree, but it still is kind of like, you know makes her feel, I don't know, it's just learning for her, which is, I think, what she's seeking almost.
Yeah, I thought it was like just a nice little touch that she Lily
Mm.
provided. It's
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I enjoy reading the history part of like anything, like books or like plays, movies. I think that's like the most fun. And
Hmm.
I feel like when reading how Gracie was like kind of learning things and like, even though it's like through script or something, she's kind of like, just like, oh,
Internalizing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, that was so fun. And like she's kind of
Hmm.
seeing the like Chinese side of her because
Hmm.
she was born in Canada and lived
Yeah.
in Canada all her life, but then she's
Hmm.
finally like see China through these plays and films, which I was like, oh,
Yeah.
nice touch.
Yeah. It was definitely a really important touch, and it was connected and sequenced very well, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like
A lot of
so much
fun.
fun. This book is so good. I actually really enjoyed it.
It was good. I think it's a good one. I mean, I do like reading or seeing the chemistry between two characters, but it's like nice to see other things that were as important too, that were given as much importance in the writing. So
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, let's talk about like Sam and Gracie. We've talked about like
Hmm.
others, but
Yeah, we've talked about everything else. We haven't talked about the most
but
important
you
things.
know what?
So.
My favorite part was how Sam was like, "Let me be the first person to test out Epi." I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, I loved it. I
No,
was like,
that was
just
so important. That was so great. Like, 'cause I think for someone like me, I like having a plan. You know me, like when we were in high school, I had my lists. I had like sequence things in my head, and like I know that a lot of people are like, "Well, that's weird," but like him, like recognizing that and like being enthusiastic to try it, I was like, my
I
organizational heart was like glowing.
I know. And then when like when she finally kind of like released the website style, and then he was like, "Yeah, everybody go use it." I was like, ah, adorable.
He's like so encouraging and like
I know.
it's just so interesting to see his like character change, where he's like
I
so rude at the beginning. He's like, "Oh, this will never work. Like, why are we talking to this woman? Like, ew." And then he's all like, "Let's do this. Like, let's see how say." I'm like,
I know. It was just so cute because, like, at that time, they were, like, falling out, but then he was like,
mm,
"Still, who cares about that? Go support this to-do list organization." I was like, "Oh," like, he
yeah,
was
it
so I love them. It was
supporting. We love a man who supports the dreams.
I know. It was just like, oh my god. Like, just kind of like the little things he did, I was like, that was just so cute. I was like, "Oh my
Where
god."
are these people in real life?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I think that was it was a very, very cute touch for sure. I think there are a lot of like I think we've been using that word a lot, like little small touches, but I feel like they make up the they encompass the novel as a whole, and it's like that's what makes it good. That's what makes it heartwarming. That's what makes it like enjoyable to read.
Yeah. And, like, I really enjoyed just her talking about like and you can like throughout the book the development of Epi and how she's like using all these like already made like whatever the first to do app was, but then finally like
Mm.
whatever she liked and it's like it was so cute. I don't know if it shows up in the ebook, but like
Oh,
throughout
but
the
like the little images of like
yeah, like
her to-do
the
list.
I thought it was
Yeah,
so cute. I was like,
I
"Ah." It's
do.
like
I
we
do.
kind of, like, go on the, like, Epi journey with her, and it was so much fun just seeing how, like, an organization to-do list person was developing her own thing even though, she might not have a lot of experience. Or maybe she does.
Mm.
What was her career? I actually don't remember. But, like, seeing her
Yeah.
develop something because she loves it, and then seeing Sam love it
Like
as well.
support that
That
and
is
love
so
it. Yeah.
cute. Yeah, I was just like,
It was so cute, and especially like the one thing about like the images like in like after I think I don't know how frequently came, but it was like I would say like after each chapter ended, It was just so interesting to see how like her to-do list like developed over time, like you said, and how like Epi was like we could see how it's all, but not only like how that to-do list type was kind of like made up, but also like to see how like get a little bit of an insider on how she thinks. Like yes, we are reading it from first person, we are reading it from her perspective, but I feel like there's something about like seeing like a personal connection to the character. Like oh yes, 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 I see that.
Right?
Yeah,
Just such small details. I loved it. I was like,
yeah. Like I feel like seeing the small things that make up or that are important to the main character, like in visual form, really contributes to the overall perspective and the vibe that you feel from the not only the character themselves but the overall book.
yeah. I honestly, for me, I thought I was not gonna like Gracie in the beginning because I don't know,
Mm.
energy in the beginning was just
Energy.
like I but then like she actually
Mm.
got better, and I think it's like she
Mm.
finally kind of found her people besides Anjali,
Mm.
of course. But like she found like kind of people who weren't Todd and like the people who worked with her, but like people who
Mm.
like Sam who actually kind of like enjoys the to-do list and things that she could,
Mm.
kind of enjoy talking about, and like you can see that like the character growth was just amazing for
Yeah,
her.
I think yeah, that's like I think feel like that was probably intentional to like make us feel a little bit sus of Gracie's energy in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then like see her like grow and have this really unique experience, and then like her like finally doing something that she enjoys doing and having people like have her back and like on this adventure.
I honestly was afraid that after they had a falling out, that like when she met the famous guy, wrote something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I forgot his name, but the famous guy who could like mention the Epi kind of website or app. And like I was afraid that Epi wouldn't go through because of Sam and
yeah.
hers falling out. But then like I'm actually glad that, she pushed through with Epi and like it like became something, and then like Sam just like was using Epi and like enjoying it. I was
Yeah, yeah,
like
no, I think that
like
that's good. That was good because it's important to show like it's okay that you can like if you have a falling out, yes, it hurts you, and but like she got back up, she did it, she executed and she finessed. So yeah.
yeah. But honestly, the saddest part was I like just flipped inside, but like when she couldn't get her mom into the really nice home,
Yeah, the home, yeah.
yeah, that hit hard. I don't know. I was like, oh, that was a
Yeah,
little
because
sad.
that was like that
I
was
know.
in the first part of the book. It was so important. Like even like the nurses were like asking her like, "Hey, like did like a space open up at that home yet?" And she was like, "Oh no, not yet." And like that was so important for her. And like I think there's actually a question in the reading guide, which is like, why was it so important for Grace to get her mom into that home? And I feel like I don't know, maybe just because of the fact that culturally perhaps it might have been a little bit more suitable to her mom because like with her Alzheimer's, like Gracie was always saying that her mom often lives in the past. So like she was like, often living like in her times before Gracie or before like even moving to Toronto, if I'm correct. And I think that her being able to like live live in a place which is kind of the culture that her mom was in prior to coming to Toronto, like a culture that she was like that's sort of like her own and that she has a special connection to. I feel like that was probably why it was so important for Gracie to do that, for her mom to be comfortable as an Alzheimer's patient. But I mean, one can disagree.
Yeah. And like for me, I think the sad part was that she like took this job to like stand in for Fox,
Mm,
and like in the end it didn't really the money wasn't enough to put her mom through
mm,
house to the home, and I was like, "Oh, that's really sad," because it was like she like
yeah.
didn't even have to do this, and like
But she did it because of
yeah
like her mom. Yeah, she did it because of her mom. That was unfortunate for sure. Like I feel like it's interesting. Like in a lot of like romance novels, you expect there to be like happy endings in all the conflicts, but here is like where it didn't happen. Like happy ending. There's a happy ending for Gracie and Gracie only. You know, but you know that
yeah.
was different, which I thought was cool.
I mean, I'm sure in the future she'll probably have her mom in the home, but
Mm,
I feel like it's nice that I mean, it's not nice, but it's nice that like it kind of went this route where her mom didn't go to the home, because I'm sure like I mean, obviously in the future she probably,
mm,
but like I feel like for the development of the book, I don't know, it was like a sad but nice touch. And like I feel like with her future success with Epi, I'm sure she could put her mom into the
Yeah, I'm sure she could. Like, if they were to, again, like you said, for if they were to do like a book on Anjali or Fang Li, like, and they like check in with how Gracie's
yeah
doing and like her mom's finally in the home, like, yes, I feel like that'd be nice. But I feel like it's also kind of, it's called also okay for there to not be any sort of conclusion.
mhm.
Because I feel like sometimes it's like, you know how when you have like a movie and then the sequel, and when the sequel is not as great as the movie, or like the events in the sequel are just like they don't hit as hard as the like original movie. That's what I fear happening with like a lot of like different books. But I guess like the key with being an author is being able to navigate away from that and maintain a different sort of effect on readers. That it's like, oh, this is so good that they're doing this, and like it's like genuinely excited, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
like I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'd be weird to do a book 2 of Gracie and,
Mm,
or at least in the future,
yeah.
like them in the future, but I think it'd be a nice touch if like we saw Fang Li and like Anjali, and then maybe just
Mm.
like oh, and then we're gonna catch up with Gracie and Sam.
Gracie or
It's
something.
like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be nice.
Yeah. That would be kind of cute. Like a cute callback. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
just like a
yeah, just
sprinkle of
drop it in
Gracie.
there.
Yep, that's like
Little
sprinkle.
sprinkle. Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. That makes sense for sure.
Speaking of like Feng Li and everyone, what was your reaction when they found out they were sisters?
I mean, I thought you said everyone. You were asking people, and so I was like,
Oh,
I
sorry,
was
what
like, are
was
you like
your
waiting
reaction?
for people to respond? I was like, no. I think I kind of felt it coming. I felt it coming. I don't know how, because like I think there was like one part in the book which is um like her father. There was something about father having like a connection with another somebody else. I could maybe I'm confusing this with another book. I feel like there was something like that. But I mean, maybe there wasn't. I'm trying to. I feel like I remember reading something about that. But either way, I just like, feel like with these sort of things, it's never like, oh, you're just doppelgangers. Just like I've seen enough sci-fi films, sci-fi TV
The
shows with
Vampire
these sort
Diaries?
of things.
That's the only place I know doppelgangers from. That's like that's it.
That is exactly what I was thinking of. I'm like, yeah, no, I mean, like, not to like digress from here, but like Catherine and what's her name, Elena.
Elena.
Yes, they weren't sisters, but they were like related to each other. Like, if you have a doppelganger in the world, you're somehow related. And so when they were when I realized they were sisters, I was like, yeah, that tracks. That tracks. I was like, oh, okay, but also I was like, makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I accidentally flipped to a page further in the book when I was starting out, and where they mentioned
Uh
sisters. I was like, oh no, 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 no. I flipped so fast. I was like, it was like
huh.
honestly, like, yeah, like you said, like how could they look this much alike and like not be related
Yeah.
sisters.
Yeah.
I kind
Oh,
of
wait,
that felt
wait.
it coming.
I actually remember now what I was getting confused with. Fong Li says that her father was first with another woman, but then I think something happened, and then she married like with Fong Li's mom. But then I think either I don't know what happened. I forgot what happened. But then now her father has married another another woman, or
Yeah, I
something
know
like
what
that. But they don't talk. Like it was that part. Like I didn't. I'm not. I wasn't entirely sure. Like like was the woman like first woman like Gracie's mom or something, or like something like that. That's something that I was thinking. But I was like, oh, my battery's getting low for these. I'm just gonna unhook my.
we can't hear you. I think it's still connected. Your
Did you hear what I said? Like the first.
your audio was not connected.
Okay, no. So what I was saying is like, when Fong Li started mentioning that little tidbit about her father, I like how like like he like remarried. I was like, this is something. This is gonna be important for later. Like, and I was right. So
I didn't think about that because yeah, I know what part you're mentioning. The first wife, her mom died, but then
yeah, her mom died. I forgot it was like either like something happened. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, but then I feel like I don't know, but maybe it's like because he was just a bad man. I kind of forgot or like something, and that's kind of why she left. And then
Mm.
when we finally get to the bar, it's like, oh, like I didn't see the fact that like you made the connection about the mom. I did not. I just like I was like, oh, stepmom, okay, cool, whatever. But then, when her Gracie's mom or their mom was talking about how like, oh, she left and she like left Fong Li with her father and then came to Toronto and how she was like pregnant with another child, Blossom. I was like, well, that kind of thing. I was like, ah, okay, yeah, I
That tracks.
we should
That
have
tracks.
thought that.
It felt super like Parent Trap, you know, like
Yeah.
because it was like what is it? I don't remember all the names from that movie, but it was like they separated the twin sisters. Dad was with like what is it, Hallie? And the mom was with Annie. And like they didn't know they like and the mom like went with Annie. Like they just separated them when they were babies. And then like they meet on some very interesting occasion in some summer camp and it was like, oh, and then they figure out they're sisters. And I was like, that's another one where I was like,
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, no.
Yeah, but honestly, it's like I don't know. I was like, oh, that just seems like the sprinkle in. I was like, I was thinking about Parent Trap. I was like,
Mm,
it's gonna be like, oh
yeah.
my god, yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like I connected the dots pretty quickly. I was like, is this where I think it's going? And then, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I was like, that seemed a little, I don't know, like in my mind, I was like, yeah, they're sisters. But for some reason, my brain didn't catch up.
Well, because you were enjoying the book, you were practicing mindfulness and just paying attention to what's there on the page, right?
True, true.
That's the type of reader you are, and I admire that so much.
Thank you. Yeah. I still can't get over the fact that they're like I don't know. I kind of wish we got more of her mom's history. Like I know
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know we saw why she left and moved to Toronto, but I feel like I kind of wish we got more of an in-depth like
Hmm.
of like oh her brother and like everyone. I was like, "Oh, I kind of
Yeah, I
wanted
wish like I mean, if that was a story that Lily Chu wrote,
yeah,
that
that would
would
be
be
fun."
interesting. I wouldn't mind that because like I feel like another thing that I feel like is cool that I've only seen in few, I'm not gonna say romance novels, but just general novels of like immigrant stories, right? I feel like that is something that is like growing in terms of genre, and I feel like exploring that other thing, which is so important to like an Asian American identity. I feel like that is something that would be so like full circle almost. But yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like it would be really nice to finally, like, see, oh, and, like, also kind of getting to know Gracie's dad because we don't really get a lot of him. So I feel like
Yeah.
if we had, like, a dedicated, like, book about her mom and just, like, I don't know, maybe not, I don't know, growing up, but, like, her life in China and then Toronto and
Yeah. I think
then
like her adult life, like meeting um the father, the like Fang Li's father, with the father that she knows, and Gracie's father, like those two. Like, see, what? On now that I think of it, if they were to explore that, it would be super Mamma Mia, right?
yeah, a little bit.
Like, just a little bit. I mean, like, of course, not the same, like completely same premise, but like the idea that like there's two different dads and there's this one woman and then she has these two kids and they're like, oh, who like father something. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit too much of an indirect connection, but I feel like that'd be an interesting story, like a cross-continent love story almost.
Yeah.
You should write it, Veronica.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it was a good book. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Um, yeah, I'm glad that you recommended it to me and that I was able to read it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was just because this book has been on my shelf for so long, and I was like, "Okay, maybe we'll do something with that." But I'm like, I'm actually glad that I chose this book for, like, this month
Mm,
for me to read it, even though I read it this morning. But, like, also because, like, I feel like I never would have read it.
If you were like not, if you didn't have the incentive, like you had to do something with it. Yeah, no, I get it.
But, like, I'm actually glad that we chose this book because it's, like, so fun. It was just such a fun book, you know what I
No,
mean?
it was for sure. Yes.
Perfect. Now let's get to, like, the reader's guide.
Oh wow, we spent like so long talking about this one thing.
But, like, in itself, it's just so much fun. Like,
Mm,
we've spent 42 minutes talking about the book itself, but it's like I feel like now we can kind of, like, pick our brains, kind of go
mm.
on me.
Yes. All right. What questions are we
Okay.
focusing on?
We'll go in order because it just seems right to go in order.
Yeah, fair.
Right. The first question is Gracie is biracial and at times struggles with other people's perception of what that means. What preconceptions do you think you have about biracial identity, or what do you see in the media? How do you react when people discuss experiences that may not be familiar to you? Something about that. I feel like I need to think about that.
I think. I think for me, well, for the two of us, like with our education fully in international schools, where people coming from different backgrounds is such a common thing. Biracial people, so many friends of ours were biracial, and I think learning and like hearing about their experiences of identifying with different aspects of two different cultures was really really cool to me and really nice to hear that. And I feel like because of like that, just solely that one idea that you know identifying with different elements of two different cultures is such a third culture kid thing. I feel like for me, like, yes, ethnically I'm Indian, but I was raised in all these places: US, Indonesia, India, Singapore, like all of these places. And there's certain parts of each of those cultures that I feel very strongly. And I feel like that's something that is also very prevalent in the biracial identity. But I think there's so many things that like we wouldn't know, like the idea that like Gracie doesn't feel like a sense of belonging. I feel like there's often like a lot of like confusion that people face too, and it's very understandable, and it's something that we have to be mindful of.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, at least for me, both my parents are Taiwanese. I'm Taiwanese, but I call myself Taiwanese American because like I never lived in Taiwan, and
Mm,
like I've pretty much lived in Singapore almost my whole life. I
mm,
was born in the US, but I lived in Singapore and like Thailand and then Singapore, sorry. And but I've only really ever grew up in more of an American community.
yeah.
We can see these like even though it's very I surrounded myself with people who knew like different ethnicities, Asian, European, all of these different ethnicities, cultures. Like I'm used to it, but I think with the book, we see Gracie only in Toronto pretty much and seeing people around her who I guess are not comfortable with Asians, I guess that
Mm,
much. See like throughout the book there's sprinkles of people like the two women in the play when she went to see it's like, oh, like that's wrong about the history of Toronto and the group of Asians that went to fight.
mm.
I think that was it. It's like
Mhm.
we can see the little tidbits of like Torontonians. I don't know their name, but like
Torontoans, I don't know.
Torontoans, one of them, and then kind of like seeing how, and like I'm glad Lily Chu did this, but like seeing how people were just like, even though Asians have been on this earth the same time as pretty much everyone else. I don't know my history, but like we can see how like even in this modern time, it's like still so weird. Like, oh, she's
Mm,
Asian, like, or like the fact that in like the Chanel party thing, the women were like, oh, Asians are like destroying Chanel pretty much and like ruining their name. I'm like,
yeah,
it's like, oh,
yeah. No, it's there. It's interesting that there's still that sort of stigma against that. I don't. I mean, like, it's a huge thing, and I don't even know how to conceptualize it. But it's definitely something that it's important that Lily Chu highlighted that. Um, and I think that's yeah. I mean, I completely agree with everything you just said. I I don't have any other way to phrase it, but yeah, I'm in agreement.
and okay, honestly, I feel like it was a little sad that like Fong Lee kind of had to be this person. Like, I mean, I'm sure all actors and like famous people have to show this famous side of them, but it's like I feel so bad for her because it's like she couldn't be herself.
Yeah.
Like even though she like did Asian films and everything, and then she kind of like even in Toronto, she fully wasn't herself.
Mm,
Guess like even with Gracie pretending to be her, it was like she just I feel so bad for her. She like couldn't catch a break to be
mm,
honest.
yeah, you're right. You're
Like
100% right. Like that's something that I feel like that's always the case of fame, like for people in fame or people in that industry where it's like, hard to they're so focused on doing things for the public and doing these endorsements and this and that. And it's crazy because they're in the public eye all the time, no matter what they do, that they don't really have the chance to explore who they are and what they like and how they feel. Yeah.
yeah,
Alrighty.
it was a good first question.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like these readers like these questions are gonna be like really well answered, but also like not really an answer because there's never an answer. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah.
question 2. The author is also biracial. How much of an author's experience do you think is incorporated into a book? Would you feel different about a book if the author is writing about an experience they have not had firsthand?
Well, I've thought about this a little bit. Like I think I don't know. I will never know what it's like to be biracial, but I think that hearing, realizing that that the author is also biracial, I think the experiences feel genuine. There is a way that Gracie's character and her internal feelings have been written that it feels like you just know that this is something that somebody has felt before, and it feels real. And I feel like if Lily Chu was not biracial as the main character is, she could have lost on the genuineness and the realness of Gracie's thoughts and how she interacted with Bong Lee and Sam, or like any other aspect of her heritage.
I agree. And I mean, I feel like as a writer, and not for me, I mean, I'm not a published author, but I do like to write. Like, I feel like we add kind of like tidbits of our own life. And
Mm.
I'm glad Lily Chu went the route that she went with this book. And I feel like, I mean, to be honest, I don't really like if she like added an experience of her own into this book, you know, I feel like it would be great because she's kind of going with experience. She's connecting with the character or characters. And I have to review the question a little bit, but um would I feel differently if she was wait, if they okay, if the author did not experience it firsthand. Wait, what? Hold on.
So it would be like if you didn't, if she was not, if she did not have that background and she still wrote about, wrote this character in this way, how would you feel differently?
Right. Okay. I feel like no, just
Mhm.
because like maybe there's an experience that she had that like she doesn't want to write, but she's having like there's an experience that maybe Gracie went through that is similar but not
Like
exactly.
synonymous to, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I just feel like because there are things about that identity that some people would never understand. Like I said before, you risk not sounding real or genuine when you're narrating from a first person. If you're, talking from a person, talking through a person with an identity that's different from yours.
Yeah. And for me, I feel like it would not take out like my enjoyment of this book because
Yeah, same thing for me.
like as she's biracial, maybe she saw someone she didn't know experience racism or someone close to her experience something and
Mm,
then she maybe felt an emotion that maybe she included in this book. Like I
mm,
feel like I don't know, the route she went was just good. I
mm,
feel like what if I mean, I don't know if she did put her own experience in, I don't know how I would feel, but I also don't think I would hate it because she's biracial and, she experienced racism or I don't
mm,
know. Also
mm,
putting a character who's biracial like her into
mm,
this and like adding her personality somewhat in this. I
mm.
don't know if like I
Yeah,
don't know
that
if
makes
I'm like
sense. That totally makes sense. Awesome. Third question.
yeah. Question 3. Gracie has a particular fondness for lists and organizational methods. Is this something you find useful in your own life? Which of the various methods Gracie explores would you most be interested in trying? I'm a yes.
Oh, yes, too. I mean, nodding like the second we started reading that question. Yeah, no. I am an organization person. I like being organized. I like having my lists. But yeah, I mean, like honestly, I'd like to try all of the sort of note or organization and to-do list methods that she has as she's developing Epi. Like I wouldn't mind. I feel like for me, I have a plan that works, but if there's anything that's like more efficient or that would work with the way I work, I'd totally be down to try anything.
Yeah. And like I love that she would get updates of like, oh, like on the first page she's using the app that she used and it's like, oh, and then the next chapter it's like, oh, it's not working for me. I'll do something else and like
Mm,
finally we get to like Epi and like its final like launch and it was so exciting and like for me, I mean, I use a planner, but even then I'm like, does that even work?
mm. Yeah.
Me like Notion, the to-do list app and then like Todoist, like all of these different things. And I love just I like we were talking about this earlier. It's just like I love the detail for like organization. And I love that Gracie had that connection as well with Sam, which we talked about.
Yes.
It's just like I don't know. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, but which of the various methods Gracie explores would you be most interested in trying?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really have like a specific like preference. I would honestly like to go through that same sort of journey that like Gracie went through to develop Epi and like find my own. I
Yeah,
would
kind of
really
like bullet journaling, but not with all the like extreme art and things like that.
yeah.
Like, at least that's for me. I mean, I like to draw and everything, but doing that like bullet journal style is definitely not for me. But like, I
Fair.
feel like let's talk about the one thing that you wouldn't try with the organization. I'll go first. It's the like mind map style that she has. I don't know why. My dad loves mind maps. I for one hate the mind map. I'm like, no.
I don't know. I mean, I've done it so many times before, but I mean, I don't particularly enjoy it, so I think I'm on your side for that one.
Though like this one was my favorite. Like I thought it was so cute. It's just
Yeah,
a
it's
mind
cute,
map.
but like when you're doing it, you feel kind of like meh.
I don't mind like looking at other people's mind maps, but if I ever did one, I think it would not go well. It was
Yeah.
just
Mm, yeah, no, I agree. I
but like
agree.
my favorite part of this book was definitely seeing the like at first I was like, why on earth is there a to-do list? But then like you start to see and it's like it's really cute and I actually love that little touch where she adds it not in every chapter, but every few chapters when we finally get that. It's like, oh, that's like such a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
touch.
yeah, you're right.
And then
I totally
seeing the end, this big one, where it's like this
agree.
launch day, it was so cute. Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't that nice? I thought it was such a cute touch. I really liked it.
yeah. No.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't see this. Do you see the bottom one?
Ah,
Oh, Sam, I love him
that
too.
doesn't show up in the ebook.
I did not see that.
That doesn't show up in the ebook. What the hell? I
That
missed
is
out.
so cute.
Oh my god, that's so cute. What?
Okay, I did not see that. Love that. That was adorable.
Love, love.
But when does he say he loves her? Oh, wait. Somewhere. Okay, I don't remember. Anyway,
That's all right. We can move on, I think.
yeah. Question 4. Gracie and Sam's mothers have different philosophical approaches to life. One cautious and one assertive. How has this impacted Gracie and Sam? Ooh. Hmm.
Well, I mean, I think even just using those two words, I feel like you can see that Sam is a lot more assertive and like very clear and like okay, like giving his opinions whenever he feels he wants to. But Gracie, on the other hand, is cautious. Like whether, like I said, we were talking about before, whether it was like asking for the payment, she was like, oh, like she was reserved and she just like she didn't want to push. But Sam is okay pushing. So I feel like you can see that come through in like even those two small things.
Yeah. And I feel like in some ways they kind of blended like we saw it kind of blended it together at towards the end of the book where it's like she's kind of putting herself out there kind of as Gracie
Yeah.
and not like pretending to be Fangli or anyone. And
Mm,
then like even though like she started out really cautious, like it was like nice to see her kind of be comfortable with herself more, which I thought it was nice. And like even though like her mom was like well we don't see her like as like a mom without Alzheimer's. So we
mm,
don't really see how, she's like cautious, I guess, but we like
mm.
I don't know. This one's a tough question. But I feel like how has it impacted Gracie and Sam? I feel like Hmm.
Greatly. It's made up who they are and how they approach like day-to-day situations. It's in their very fiber in the way they react to people, right? Like it's very like it's affected their demeanors, right? That's what I feel is very, very clearly impacted, because like your mother makes up a lot of who you are, whether you're a son or a daughter or just, an offspring. um, but I think that it's clear. I think it's very clear. Otherwise, if both of them were like cautious or both of them were assertive, they would be the same. They would honestly kind of like be clashing with each other. But they don't. They complement each other, which is why the relationship works.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like they also like, even though maybe Gracie was more cautious, she had that little assertiveness, and
Mm,
like Sam had like maybe more assertiveness and then maybe a little bit like cautious, but
yeah.
then they kind of brought that out of
Mm,
each other. Like Sam was assertive, and so slowly we kind of saw Gracie be a little more assertive, which I thought it was nice.
yeah.
But like you said, they definitely complemented with
Mm,
each, which was nice.
yes. All right.
Next, question 5. Why do you think it was so important for Gracie to get her mother into Xinguan? What would you be willing to do in Gracie's place? Ah.
We kind of talked about this earlier. Like, I think like we addressed this exact question. But I mean, I'm willing to, yeah.
Let's talk about at least the second part. What would you be willing to do in Gracie's place? Since we kind of did the first part of the question.
Well, I mean, firstly, maybe because I'm just really cautious and I'm like, I can be a bit of a skeptic. Like, if someone came up to me and looked exactly like me and was like, "Hey, do you want to like pretend to be me?" and be like, "I don't care if you look like me," which is like
No,
freaking.
but like the first interaction was the fact that Gracie thought they were like sex workers. I'm like, oh my god.
That
Just
would
like,
be my first reaction to be like,
I
oh no, I'm gonna
told
no,
you, like about
no,
that.
I can do whatever. I'm
It's like,
leaving.
it was so funny. Like, but no, I agree. Like, if first off, I know for sure I don't have a sister, so I'm okay. But
Yeah,
like, if someone went up, I'd probably run and hide. It was like,
yeah, I would hide and I'd find another way. I mean, like if I just find another way. I don't know what I would do. I just do it.
yeah, like I'm glad this story exists because it was really cute to read. But
Mm.
it's like also like I'm not like she kind of Gracie kind of trusted Feng Li and Sam, or maybe just Feng Li at first a little too much.
Yeah, yeah, like a
Going
little bit
like, "Oh,
too trusting.
I'll
It's
do
like,
it."
girl, where are your instincts?
Like, I mean, sure, she kind of went in like, "Oh, I'm doing this for my mom. It's worth it if like she gets the money and everything." But like, I don't think like if my mom ever had to go through this, I don't think I would do that. I think I would, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. I get what you're saying.
Else,
Yeah,
was like,
I
oh,
get it.
but that was so like it was a fun time. That
Mm,
first
yeah,
interaction was so funny.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Sure.
Okay, great. I was about to say Grace 6. Sorry, question 6, because it starts out with Gracie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gracie finds a moment of empowerment when she ditches her attempts to blend in and chooses her own specific power red lipstick, a shade distinct from Fang Li's. Is there a personal token, whether it's makeup or some other item, that makes you feel powerful? What do you think it is that gives you that feeling? First off, I loved that she like even though she wore a red lip, through like for work, but then Todd kind of ruined it, but then she kind of finally got the confidence to go back to the red lipstick. I was like, "Oh, that's so cute," because it's like she kind of like
Assertiveness.
yeah, exactly. See?
Yeah,
Shining through.
it's assertiveness. I think for me, like just like my item that makes me powerful, there are like a few like pieces of clothing that I have that I'm like, I feel like a boss, like the girl boss. Like yesterday, I was just running around and doing stuff like for work that I do, and like I was like wearing these like really cute pants and like a really like beautiful, like not beautiful, but like really like basic blouse, and I was like just like walking around like with my purse and stuff. And it's just I felt like a New York queen, just like doing her stuff, like taking care of herself, but also getting the money and doing the things. I just felt like that. I just they're clothes that make me feel that way. But yeah,
That's nice. Your fashion sense is great.
but
Like,
I'm
wait,
wearing a Georgetown shirt right now. That's not even my own university, and I'm wearing jeans. Don't even. I'm wearing the most chill thing right now.
yeah, but I'm also wearing clothes, chill clothes. Like I'm wearing sweatpants right now. It's all about comfort though.
I love that.
But I feel like for me, mine is jewelry.
Oh yeah,
Like
rings
I
from.
yeah, rings and earrings.
Mm,
I always wear the same two. Like, the two
yeah,
rings I always wear.
yeah.
And like I feel like and my watch. I'm not wearing a watch
Yeah,
right
you're
now, but I
right.
feel naked without my watch. I was
I
like,
know,
I
yeah.
cannot for the life of me go out without a watch. That scares me. I'm just like, no, I will run back into the house
Yeah,
and like
I
go.
know. I remember that. You used to wear a watch so frequently in high school. Like that was always there. Like for me recently, like this, like my Fitbit, I feel like it I guess it's I don't know if it's a power, something that makes me feel powerful. I think it's like I don't know. It's just, this is like a whole irrelevant thing, but like it's like kind of like a symbol of my dedication to like my own like physical wellness and like well-being. And I think just seeing it and like seeing how far I've come, like this is like a symbol of how far I've come. Because I don't know, but it felt like
No, but that's also a good reason. It's like, yeah, like I said, it empowers you,
yeah,
right?
it
Yeah.
does. It does. All
And
right.
like, yeah, like it's just like I don't know. For me, it's my watch, my rings, and I like earrings because like you can make also like it can be like a simple like hoop or
Mm-hmm.
a stud earring. It'll look nice, and it's like
Yeah. I remember.
definitely like if I had to have one thing, it would be my watch.
It'd be your watch. Yeah, no,
If I like
I know. Mm-hmm.
unless I'm at home, like this is just covering it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Alrighty, next one.
Next, question 7. If you were going to be mistaken for a celebrity, which I doubt I will, and then step into their life for a week, who would you want it to be? Why? Who would you least like to trade lives with?
Oh, this is a tough question. I don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I don't know if it'd be celebrities, just because their lives, yes, they're pictured to be so glamorous, but I know it's so hard, and I don't think I'd ever want to go through that. Right? And like Gracie gets a taste of that. And she realizes, like, I think there's a part of her that's like, damn, this is really hard. It's not all glamorous. And she I think there's like that's how she's able to kind of connect with Fang Li, that like the hardships there are in work generally. So I don't know. I don't honestly. I mean, like I hate to be like the one person. I don't know if I want to trade lives with a celebrity.
No, I would agree. Like, I feel like the fame, I would not handle it, to be honest. And
Mm.
like, just, I mean, I like taking photos. I
Mhm.
certainly don't really enjoy taking photos of myself.
Mm.
Selfies do not count because those aren't shared. At least I keep those for myself. But like I feel like in the public eye, like you even like through this book, you can see how almost anything is taken. Like
Mm.
that's the scary part. I don't think I would like honestly I would not trade my life even just for a week or a few days.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Like even like when she had that fan which mistook her for Ellen Gao and everything. I feel like, and the fact that she kind of like dug her nails into Gracie's skin. Like, can you imagine?
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
way too. It's like
Yeah.
that's scary.
Mm.
But I
No,
mean,
I agree.
yeah, it's a no. But I feel like also like this kind of like this book. I don't know, made me realize like obviously I knew like obviously celebrities have like their personal lives, but then it's like I don't know, it, like, made me appreciate celebrities, not really, but a little bit, and, like, the fact that they go through this public eye all the time, and it's like you kind of feel bad for them, you know? It's like they
I think it's just like they're how resilient they are, I
yeah,
guess. Yeah. Hmm. Fair. Makes sense.
can't no, 1 week is scary. The
Sorry, I don't know who's calling me. Anyways, yes, let's continue.
my
Sorry.
cat my cat looked so weird. He has his tongue sticking out and his ears are like it was funny. It was funny. Okay. Question sorry, the page flipped away. Question 8. Fang Li reveals that she was discouraged from seeking help
Hmm.
for her depression. Why was that? What do you think would have happened if she'd sought help anyway? Can you think of any moments in your or others' lives where mental health stigma kept you or others from seeking help? We kind of already addressed this a
Yes.
little bit, but I thought she did seek help. Was I imagining that?
No, I thought she did too.
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess in the beginning she was like, "Oh, I don't want to see anybody,"
Mhm.
which yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's because of like yeah, it's like the stigma of like therapy is bad and like if you go to therapy, you're crazy or
Mhm.
that. And I think that's kind of why and like especially since she's a celebrity, it's
It would be
mentioned it's like people don't want to see Fang Li going to therapy. People want to
yeah,
see
people
Fang
don't want to see her be far from perfect.
yeah.
They have this perfect ideal, and then this is like a smidge.
Yeah. It's like, we don't want to see Fang Li crazy. We want her perfect. And it's like, that's like it's not said, but it's definitely hinted and you could tell that's why she didn't want to go to therapy. Which
Mhm.
I'm glad that in the end she like with Gracie's help and Sam, yeah, is
Mhm.
like kind of like felt comfortable enough to like at least maybe see or do something about it.
Mhm.
Which I mean, do I know anybody? I don't know. I don't think so. If I do, I certainly have forgotten. Not in like cuz like I hate you or anything. It's just cuz like everyone knows I have bad memory. I'm like a little Dory. Okay?
Yes, you are. You are.
I guess I am. No, but um I mean, if I knew someone, I probably do. Yeah, I probably do. But like I would say, do whatever's comfortable for you and like I feel like don't like obviously listen to others, but if they say like, oh, therapy is like taboo or it's like, don't like it's even mentioned, oh, like, help yourself, like why go therapy when you can do things yourself? It's like sometimes you need that like little like a person to just talk to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's having somebody to talk to and have someone to push you to get the help that you need is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. And then I think only having that was was momentous for her and kind of probably hopefully pushed her in the right direction in mental well-being.
Yeah. Exactly. And I know from like TikTok ads, which is funny because I don't know why I'm getting these TikToks, but I'm getting them anyway. It's these ads for like, for like a therapy app or website, I don't know, but where you can, if you don't want to show up to an office or talk to someone, you can always talk to someone online and, like
Mm.
a phone call or text message or whatever. And like, at least now, I would say in this modern time, therapy is at least somewhat normalized.
Mm.
It's like where, if you want
It's
to see,
getting there. It's
yeah,
getting
yeah. It's not like amazing top tier, but it's definitely gotten better. And it's more like, if you want to talk to someone, at least you have the option to.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
yeah. Question 9. Gracie is thrust into a far more glamorous life than she's ever known before. If you found yourself in her situation, what's the number one luxury you'd most enjoy?
The
So,
clothing and the food.
food?
Clothing and
Clothing.
food.
Oh, okay, but like, look at this dress. I feel sorry. It looks so nice, and I feel like in the beginning when she walks into the wardrobe, she's like, I feel like that'd be so much fun.
It's like a print. It's like, have you seen Princess Diaries too? When she
The
walks in the closet.
closet, immaculate. Just
Yeah, no. It just reminded me of that. I was like, oh, if it was clothing, hands down, clothing, perhaps food, but I don't think they did too much on food in this. I
yeah.
don't know. I figure if you're a celebrity, you get good food. So, yeah.
I loved her wardrobe. I liked, I think
The way the clothes were described, like I could feel them.
it was so nice.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, at least, it would definitely be jewelry and maybe like something. I don't know. I'm the type of person who would go simple when like going out,
Mm.
but like simple. And if it were like a fancy event, simple but like pretty,
Mm.
but with like an accent jewelry. For me, it's like jewelry.
Yeah,
Like
you're right.
jewelry for me, clothing for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that was such a Princess Diaries moment.
It was.
Like whenever I think of like wardrobe and it's like describing like their shoes, the clothing, and like that moment when she does the buttons for like the tiaras and the sunglasses. I
And
remember.
the music when they like come out is like slow mo and then they light up. It's like
Now I really want to rewatch that.
rewatch it for me.
I feel like I just like the memories. So cute. Anyway, question 10. I've lost the page. Here it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gracie initially felt powerless in the face of her boss, Todd. What do you think was keeping her from facing him down? Oh, God. Don't comment on that voice crack. Facing him down, what did you think of their final confrontation and the realization that he didn't have any power over her? Okay. Yeah. I felt like, I feel like she felt powerless because she's a woman. You know what I mean? And it's like she like it's one of those things like, oh, who would you believe, the man or the woman saying that she was sexually assaulted by him? It's like, he's obviously you can see through the beginnings, like he has power, and in that time he was definitely not afraid to use it. But then like kind of the redemption and the fact that she got to be like, oh, who are you? It's like that felt good. I feel like I wanted her to be like, I don't know you. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt satisfied when the security, he was like, oh, take her away. But then he was like, actually, you need to come with me, sir. I was like, yes. Yay.
Yeah, no, that was like snaps, 100%. I think, yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. Like, it's a more bringing it to current events and all. I think sexual harassment is something that isn't ever really taken lightly in the corporate world, and it's just it's unfortunate, but women are never really given the upper hand in resolving or kind of like terminating these issues, right? And so her not saying it was just fear that she would lose her livelihood and things like that. And it's an understandable fear. That's, I think, something that so many women have gone through. But I think she got her justice and Todd got what he deserved, and that was how it should have been.
Yeah. I'm really glad that it wasn't like a confrontation where, he kind of beat her down again. You know what I mean? Like one of those where like she like through the face of Fong Li and kind of dressed up in that public eye, she was like, F you. So
Yeah.
that one I felt really good about. But like even then we could see how powerless she was in the beginning and how the fact that he literally ripped up a proposal she did and that he accepted, and it's like no one would believe her and things like that. And the fact that, she took a sick day off, that he said, okay, sure, take a day off. And he was like, I didn't give that to you. It's like, wow. It's like crazy. Dude.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So yeah, I'm actually really happy with the fact that, it was over and it was a good ending for that.
Agreed.
And the fact that Sam like kind of shoved it in the face, like, I know what you did, son. I was like, F you, bro.
Yeah, I remember.
I feel good about that.
That's good. That's good. I like that too.
Your thoughts?
No, I mean, I
Similar?
I think you captured like my sentiments very well on this. It's just I think it was definitely like well deserved. It was just nice to see like Gracie's like hold of herself. Like before she was powerless and she was just like she was too busy like trying to figure out other things and she felt kind of like not in control, it almost felt like. But I think her entire interaction with Todd, the whole thing at the end, I think that was a sign of her regain, like, or, getting confidence and getting power and getting, like having control, and I feel like that's something that she was always looking for and she got it. And it kind of came through with Todd.
Yeah. And I kind of going into real life, I think it's like also the like a little sad that some people in like kind of this kind of work environment don't get the satisfaction of like kind of becoming stronger and facing their boss, because I'm sure there's some bosses like Todd where like, oh, I will destroy your career, you'll never work in another industry like this ever again, sort of thing. And like, like
Mhm.
I obviously I don't know the experience, but
Mhm.
like there's like people won't have that, some people won't have that experience where Gracie did in
Yeah,
fighting step.
yeah,
So,
you're right. You're totally right. I agree.
you know, it was nice to like, if people read this and like if women read this and were like
Motivated
feel
to.
that like moment of satisfaction that maybe she did in that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, no, I feel like there's a lot of media like that where it's like they show the woman having no power and then her regaining some power and using that to get justice, rightful justice for herself. There's a lot of media like that, and then it's pushed women to come forward, which is great. And I hope that this book is a part of that team of media that prompts that or that catalyzes that reaction.
Yeah. And I think it's nice that slowly throughout like 2022 and recently obviously there's more media like showing women kind of being girl boss and everything, and fighting and showing people that they have power, which is
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree. Alrighty.
Okay. Question 11. Hold on. Let's take a drink break. I'm getting thirsty. Okay. We'll keep with this oh, I don't know what I said there. But maybe we can do two more questions.
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll finish off in question 12, make it nice and even. Yeah? Okay.
Awesome. Great.
So, question 11. Sam clearly envies Gracie's ability to live a normal life without the eye of the world on her. How do you think you would handle being famous? Would the trade off of luxury versus the loss of privacy be worth it? Me too. Yeah.
No, I just like I I feel like originally like in old Hollywood times, everyone like and even like just older when media was like still like a new concept, like celebrities were seen as glamorous and only glamorous, but now media is kind of like changing that and like showing that it's not all glamorous and that famous people go through real problems and even more. And yes, Sam is envious, and I understand why, because he's not able to do like mundane things, like doing mundane things or like fun things or like meaningful things for him. And I don't think I could ever like compromise on that. I mean, yes, maybe from time to time, like, oh, I wish I could like attend the Met Gala, like like, but I don't think I'd ever like want to trade my life, right? Like if it's like it's an experience, I would like an experience, not change my life.
True. I would agree. Like, when I was little, I used to imagine myself, like,
Hmm.
standing in front of a podium, receiving a
Yeah,
nice award, but, like,
yeah.
trade yeah, I definitely wouldn't trade it, and I think, like what you said, Sam, like, I think it's sad that, like, he's, what, 30 and finally
Mhm.
being enjoy the small, tiny events with Gracie and finding those, like a walk in the park or yeah, it's just, like,
Mhm.
definitely not trade it.
Yeah, fair. You're right. Alrighty, our last question.
Yes. Okay, there are 18 total questions, and I'm trying to find a good one to end off.
Alrighty.
It's so hard to find one. They're all really good questions. Well, you know what? Let's do question 18. The
Okay.
future looks bright for Gracie, Sam, and Fang Li, but there's a long road ahead of them. What do you think is in store for them? And I'm going to skip the question about their parents
Mhm.
because I don't want to answer that.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I mean, like I feel like you and I have talked so much about like Fang Li's relationship and like potential, like just exploring herself. But Gracie and Sam, hmm. I mean, I don't know. I like the way it's ended, and I think I'd like it to be that way. I don't know if I would like to see like a second book on the relationship like we talked about. I think
Yeah.
it's nice that it ended the way it did, and I feel that's just the way it should be. And yes, they have a long road ahead of them. I hope that Gracie continues to be as continues to regain her power and show her and like continue to be assertive where she can. And I hope that Sam is there to encourage her and also, I guess, follow his own goals and take pleasure in doing mundane things like he wants to. That's my thought.
Trying to hold in a sneeze.
You're good.
Okay, I think you should be okay. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, we already talked about this earlier. Definitely, for sure. I like at first I would have liked to maybe an epilogue and how like oh a few years later it's like oh
Yeah,
happily
maybe.
married, and I can imagine already them getting married and maybe having kids in the future. I think that would be really cute.
Yeah,
But yeah, like you said, I'm really glad that it ended this way, just because like having a sequel would be a little much.
yeah, yeah, agreed.
This was kind of like a satisfying ending, but then I feel like bringing it back up is like
Is it really necessary? Yeah, yeah, fair. Yeah, we're on the same page.
yes, but I'm really happy. I like the ending. It was really cute, and I'm happy. And
Me too.
like this little thing. Oh yeah, that was cute. But
Tell
like
Sam I love him too. Yeah.
oh my god, there was another one. Look, it even says to her mom's new room at Xinhuan's.
Wait, so it actually did happen.
I was like,
Oh my god, I'm missing out with this ebook, man. This
you
last
know
one
what?
didn't go
This is
out.
clearly the epilogue itself. Oh
Okay, the
no, yeah, I
official
feel
epilogue almost.
no, yeah, I like this. I think good with the ending.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy.
I'm
Yeah,
happy too. I'm happy. 100%.
this was cute. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I do too. The stand-in by number 2. Ooh.
No
Yep.
one saw that. Everybody. Yeah, we're done. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I hope everybody else enjoyed the book as much as we did, because it was great. And this conversation was amazing. Thank you so much, Ananya, for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I had a great time. I haven't engaged in such a literary discussion in a long time. It's been a hot minute and I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
And hopefully, Ananya will show up for more live shows in the future. Up to her, of course. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming to today's live show. And as usual, follow us on our Twitter for more book club updates and voting as well for our October book. Super fun. And join us on Discord as well for
Mhm.
more discussion. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.